Hello, a warm welcome from my side. My name is Vesna Milos Zupanc, and I'm an expert director of študentski servis, a youth and labor market expert. And today I'd like to tell you more about what do foreign students need to know about student work in Slovenia. So how does the system of student work works and how to get a student job. I work at študentski servis, which is the biggest mediary of student jobs in Slovenia. We work with 80,000 students and pupils every year for the last 29 years. So we know basically every generation of young people in Slovenia. And on the other hand, we work with around 16,000 of employers. So we also know what is it that the employers want from you as a students. We're in the middle, like a bridge between both sides, connecting young people to labor market, to jobs, to employers. So today, I'd like to tell you more about what do you need in order to register at the student service, what do you need to work, what kinds of permissions, what kind of information do we need from you, and on the other hand, what kind of jobs are there in Slovenia. And I'm very happy that you chose our beautiful country for your studies. I hope you enjoy it here. I hope you'll be successful and that you also stay here afterwards. There are also around 8,000 to 10,000 foreign students and pupils in Slovenia who work. And the system is very similar to other countries. So students work in basically every country. It also depends on the system. Is it financed by student loans or do you have the ability to work? What is different in Slovenia is that there are special agencies mediating student work. It's called študentsko delo, and this system allows students to work part-time while studying. So why do students work? It's to support themselves financially on one side, and of course to gain work experience at the same time. We must say that around 70% of foreign students and pupils that work in Slovenia, that work student jobs, come from the countries of Bosnia and Herzegovina, North Macedonia and Serbia. So mostly they're from the ex-Yugoslavian countries, but there are also other students from other countries. And in general, on average, students and pupils in Slovenia work around 2.5 months a year and earn 3,233 euros gross amount per year, which is around 2,000, not around, exactly 2,732 euros net per year. And that's around 230 euro per month. So what are the benefits of student work that students report? Of course, the obvious one is earning your own money, the financial aspect. Then what's really important is gaining work experience. You get to know employers and jobs here. And also you get to know your talents and your interests. So what is it that you are good at? You get to know the labor market. And of course you gain important competences like communication, teamwork, job-specific skills that are dependent on the type of work you do. What is also important for foreign students in Slovenia is that you gain the knowledge of Slovenian language in practice. And it's easier to integrate into the environment through the process of work. What is a really, really good statistic is that 62% of young people get a regular employment after studies with one of the employers where they previously did student work. So 62%, which is really a lot. That means that student work is like a connection between your studies and first employment. So it's like testing environment. So in Slovenia, you have specialized employment agencies. They're called študentski servis, so student service in translation. We're like specialized part-time employment agencies. We're concessionaries of the Ministry of Labor. There are 14 agencies at the moment in Slovenia, plus National Employment Service of Slovenia. Once upon a time, there were around over 100 different študentski servis. But there was a big drop because of the costs, because the cost of the entire service is only 2.72%. And what is really important for you is that everything is paid by the employer. So it costs state nothing, but also it costs you nothing. So you as a student have €0 costs, and you can choose any of the student services. So where I come from is e-študentski servis. This one is the big one, the biggest in Slovenia. We have 18 offices around Slovenia. Then the next one is M-Job and Mariborski študentski servis. You also have local regional services like Koroški študentski servis or Prekmurski študentski servis. You as a student can work at any of them and it's for free. And you can also choose more of them. So who can work as a student in Slovenia? Slovenian high school and secondary school and university students, you have to be at least 15 years old. And for foreign students, you have to have a student status in Slovenia. So you have to be enrolled into one of the faculties and universities. You also can work if you're doing your practice or studies as a part of an international exchange program in Slovenia, like Erasmus. And also, in theory, foreign students enrolled in educational institutions abroad in EU or elsewhere can work, whereas in practice it's a really small number of these. And for all third country nationals, a proof of permanent residence in Slovenia is required. And also refugees with international protection. So what do you have to do in order to work? It's a very simple procedure. First, you have to register. So that means that you become a member of one of the student service. It's free, you can do it online. Then you find a job. You can do it on your own, contact the employers directly, or you can search it through our website. The third step is ordering a referral. This is a really important step because this is a legal basis for your work. And you have to get this student referral before you start working. Then you work. This is the most beautiful part for you. This is where you gain experience and learn how to work. You have to check with the employer where does it take place and of course try not to be late and do all of your duties. And then afterwards, when you stop working for the month, you receive the payment. The company calculates the hours you worked and it informs the student service how much you worked. And I must proudly say that more than 90% of all the earnings are paid in advance. That means when the company says the student has worked, for example, 30 hours and this is that much euro, we pay the money in advance and then we wait for the company to pay to us, so you get the money quickly. So let's start with the first step, where to register. It's a quite simple procedure. You enroll online or you can do it in person in one of our offices. You have 18 different offices in Slovenia, also in Maribor, Celje, Ptuj and in other cities. Or you can do it online. And what do you need? So the information we need from you is your email, your mobile number, your name and surname, your gender, of course date of birth, if you have Slovenian citizenship, and then your address. And then there are some other information that you need maybe to check, like tax number or personal identification number. We'll get through this a little bit more. Okay, so what is EMŠO? This is like a Uniform Citizen Identification Number. It starts with your birth date and you can usually find it on your passport or your ID. Then you need a Slovenian tax number. This is issued by the tax administration, financial office, anywhere in Slovenia. For example, you can get it at Furs Maribor. Its address is Titova Cesta 10. And then, of course, we need your bank account number so that we can transfer the money to your account. You can either have a Slovenian or an EU account. And then if you're a resident, and when I say a resident, I mean tax resident of Slovenia, that means that you pay taxes here. In case that you're a tax resident in Slovenia, we will need some further documents which can be obtained from Financial Office of the Republic of Slovenia, FURS, as mentioned before. And in case you're a non-resident, but planning a long-term stay in Slovenia, which is more than 6 months, you have to regularize your residency status. This may involve applying for a residence permit or other legal permission to reside in Slovenia for the extended period of time. So in case you're a non-resident, there are different types of taxes you pay. I'll get through this a bit more later. And what we do not need from you is your faculty document, so your proof of status, so-called, because we obtain this information directly from the Ministry of Education. So, okay, now you've registered. The next step is finding a job. So there are different kind of jobs you can get. It, of course, depends on your qualifications, your education, your competences, and of course, knowledge of Slovenian language, which is in some jobs quite important. There are different types of jobs that students do in Slovenia, from different administrative work, programming, healthcare, retail, sales assistants, cashiers, shop assistants, then hospitality jobs in tourism, food and beverage service, reception, working with customers, and simple jobs like work in the production, warehouse work, packing, filling shelves, cleaning, and so on. Okay, so if we check what kind of jobs are there for foreign students, there are all types of jobs available for students from foreign countries. So on one side, you have highly professional work, specialized jobs like high-tech jobs, technology, IT developers, engineers. Also, international companies are those that are usually more open to foreign students, have a culture that it's more open to people from other countries. Also in startups, there are usually not the barrier, you can't find the barriers in English language. English language opens the doors in startups. It's usually Slovenian language is not necessary. And then if the Slovenian language is a problem for you, you have to find the kind of job where Slovenian language is not necessary. This is usually in simple physical manual work, like production, manufacturing, delivery of food and goods, moving, relocation, help in the kitchen, assistance in warehouse, and so on. So how to find an available job? All current and up-to-date job offers can be seen on our website, so you can simply browse and search the website. We advise you to use search filters. So when you apply search filters, you can sort work regarding type of work, how much it's paid, the location where the work is done, and so on. And we also advise you to complete your application for active job seekers. So what does that mean, active job seekers? It means that you get an email or a Viber a message or SMS at the moment when new job offer is online. So you get all the information about the type of work that you want to be informed about, okay? And what I would also strongly recommend you is to use Google Translate. So you can simply click with the right click of your mouse on the web page and simply translate it into your language, whichever language that might be, or into English, or what is easier for you. For example, at the moment, we have more than 4,000 different student jobs. It's just before summer. And in summer, most of the student work is done. But the jobs are available throughout the year. So here is the example of our web page of e-študentski servis. You can see there are different kinds of jobs, and you can see it's always written what type of job there is. It's written how much payment it offers, so net amount is what you need to know. How much you get on your bank account, and then also there's a description of what type of work it is, what do you have to do at this job, and when is it, and the contact of the employer. It might be either email or phone number, or you can directly contact them through our webpage. On our webpage, you can also find basic information for foreign students in English, and Croatian and some other languages. You click on the frequently asked questions. So And then all the information is gathered. Everything I will tell today and all the other questions that foreign students usually have are answered here. So who can work, what does it look like, how to enroll, all of the procedures I have described and I will describe here, you can also find online. Okay, so now we mentioned how to register in Studentski Servis and how to find job. And what's the next step? The next step is legal basis. So it's a student referral. In Slovenian, it's called študentska napotnica or napotnica. So what is it? Študentska napotnica is a document that you are obliged to have before you start working. So before you come to the employer's office, you need to have this document. What do we need in order to issue the referral is just the name of the employer that you work for and the type of work you will do. And it's not a paper anymore. Everything is online and is in e-form. So you can order it online with 2 clicks or by phone or send us an email. And afterwards you receive the SMS, a text message or a Viber message with a link to the e-referral, so it's like electronic referral. And it's also visible and accessible online for you, for your employer, and for us at Studentski Servis. So it's really simple procedures, just a few clicks, but it's really important because if you don't have this student referral, it means that it's illegal, undeclared work, which is fined, it's not okay to do it, and you can be fined. You and the employer can get the fine in many euros that you have to pay because this is not legal if you don't have the document. So now the part that you might be most interested in, it's payment. So how much do you get paid? In Slovenia, there's a law that says there's a minimum hourly pay. So you cannot get paid less than this. This is the minimum. So every year it's different. It depends on the minimum wage in regular employment. And for student work, current minimum hourly pay from February 2024 is €7.21 gross per hour, which is net on your bank account €6.20 for residents. And if you're not a tax resident in Slovenia, you get €4.83. And one of the most important information that I need you to remember is that if you are a non-resident in Slovenia, you can get this money back because this is a taxation that Financial Administration of the Republic of Slovenia takes. And in case we have a double taxation agreement with your country, you can get this money back. So this is a minimum hourly pay. How much is the minimum that you need to be paid? But of course, you can get paid less. There are only around 14% of all the student jobs that are offered with minimum hourly pay. The average hourly rate is €8.44 gross per hour, which is €7.26 net per hour, and €5.66 for non-residents. So we advise you to check hourly rate. Hourly rates, they're published in the ads, and also sometimes you can negotiate about it. And there are suggested hourly rates. It depends on what type of work you're doing. Of course, if you're like a computer programmer, you'll get more money than in case you're like cleaning. And you can check how much is it normal to get paid, how much are the regular average rates on our webpage. And the payment of income comes to your bank account directly. And as mentioned before, we offer advanced payment, of course, for over 90% of all the companies and students. So that means that your earning is more secure because you get it directly, and then later we deal with the company and the bills. So now we talked about what's your net earning. On the other side, the employers pay more because all of the different taxes and contributions are also paid from the student work. So what you get on your bank account is net payment, your earning. For example, if you get €100 on your bank account, the company, the employer, pays €162 approximately, because all of that is regulated by the state and it's paid for the pension and disability contribution, that is the biggest contribution, then for scholarships in Slovenia, then of course value-added tax, which is like paid everywhere, then health insurance, student organization, then our services are included in that, then building of university and faculties, a building of dormitories, so student housing, and also the contribution for injuries at work is paid. So always when you talk to the employer, you need to know what is the net amount, the amount of money you get to your bank account, and the company pays more and everything else. What is really different for foreign students in Slovenia is that 22.5% of the payment of income tax is also included in that. So it's paid by the non-residents, those that are not tax residents in the Republic of Slovenia, and that is from the countries that don't have an agreement on the avoidance of double taxation. This is quite complicated. I'll tell you a bit more, but you can always check any of our offices for more information. Okay, so here you can see an example of a non-resident of Republic of Slovenia and a resident, so tax resident of Republic of Slovenia. You see with gross earnings €100, if you're a resident of Republic of Slovenia, your earning is €86.05. But in case you're a non-resident, the country takes 22.5% from you in advance, so FURS, Financial Administration of Republic of Slovenia, and your earning is only €76.04. But what is really important that you remember is that this money can be refunded, so you can get it back in case our country has a double taxation agreement with your country. So what do you need to do is to check if Republic of Slovenia has double taxation agreement with your country, with country of your origin. So in case there is this agreement, you can get this advance payment, 22.5%, reimbursed, so you can get it back. This form is called KIDO 12. It's a form that you need to send to financial office, and then you get this advanced income tax back. And you can get it at our offices, at e-študentski servis, and you can send it to financial office. And we can send it to you one day after you get the earnings. And you just let us know that you need it, and then you file it in. And then the tax office refunds this money to your bank account. Okay, so what is really good information that you can get this money back within 5 years, which means that also if you worked as a student last year and you didn't know about that, you can get the refund, you can still get it, okay? So you can claim it either once a month, every 6 months, every year, or anytime within 5 years' time, okay? And once you send this KIDO 12 form to FURS, they will transfer you this money within a month. Okay, and for more information, read the FURS website, and also there you can find all the necessary forms or contact any of the offices of student service. So now let's quickly talk also about your rights and your responsibilities with student jobs. So as mentioned before, minimum hourly rate is legalized in Slovenia, so you cannot get paid less than what is minimum hourly rate. Then what's also important that if you find an ad and it offers you, for example, €10 per hour, they have to pay it then, because advertised hourly rate has to be paid, okay, regarding the law. And what's also important is that onboarding time. So the process of your introduction to work must also be paid, which means that, for example, you will work 1 month in June and they say, okay, come to our office one day for 2 hours so that we show you how the work is done. Okay, you can come for 2 hours, but for these 2 hours you also have to be paid and you need the student referral for these 2 hours, okay? What's also your right is a 30-minute work break if you work 8 hours a day. And once again mentioned, student referral, so študentska napotnica, is obligatory. So otherwise it's illegal work and you and the employer can be fined. Also for student work, there are some articles of Labor Relations Act, so Zakon o delovnih razmerjih, that the employers have to follow, which is the articles about working time, working breaks, rests, liability of damages, and special protection of young people under the 18 years of age. Okay, so as mentioned before, student work is a bridge to regular employment. 62% of young people who work as students get employed after their studies at one of the employers where they worked as students. So I advise you to choose your student jobs wisely, to look for the jobs where you earn enough money, but on the other side, that you also get important competences, important work experience. What the research shows is that students now in Slovenia choose wisely. They of course look at the financial aspect, but are more and more aware about this importance of competences that you gain at student job, social network that you widen while working, and that this is their contact to the employer, that they gain important experience, and they also get to know more about themselves. What is it that they like? What kind of jobs they would want to do? And they can try this at the period of student work. But still, what's most important for you is your studies. You are primarily students, so you have to put studies on the first place. So first, studies, exams, and everything for school. And afterwards, when you have time, also time for student jobs. So studies are more important in that regard. So thank you for your attention. You can visit any of our offices throughout Slovenia, also in Maribor, Celje, Ptuj, and in 15 other places. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope the information you just heard was useful for you. In case you need anything else about student jobs in Slovenia, I warmly welcome you to contact any of our offices. You have offices in Maribor, in Ptuj, and everywhere around Slovenia. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. So I wish you successful studies and good student jobs. Bye-bye.